Hey there, Bible explorers. Let's dive deep into the incredible story of Isaac, a man whose life is so rich in faith miracles and lessons that it continues to inspire us today. Isaac wasn't just the son of Abraham. He was a key figure in God's plan for humanity, a living testament to divine promises, and a bridge between generations of faith. His story is packed with moments that teach us about God's provision, obedience, and the blessings of trust. So, get comfortable as we take an extended look into his life and the lessons we can draw from it. Isaac's story begins with laughter, literally. His name means he will laugh, and for good reason. His birth was nothing short of miraculous. Abraham and Sarah were well into their old age. Sarah was 90, and Abraham was 100. Genesis 17, verse 17. Can you imagine the disbelief when God told Abraham that Sarah would bear a child? Sarah herself laughed at the idea. Genesis 18, verses 12 to 14. But God's response was profound. Asterisk, is anything too hard for the Lord? Asterisk, Genesis 18, verse 14. And then it happened. Against all odds, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, the promised child. This moment wasn't just a family milestone. It was a fulfillment of God's covenant with Abraham, a covenant that promised descendants as numerous as the stars. Genesis 15, verse 5. Isaac's very existence was a reminder that God's promises might take time, but they are always fulfilled. Reflect on that for a moment. How often do we doubt God's timing? Isaac's birth teaches us to hold on to faith, even when the wait seems impossible. One of the most dramatic and unforgettable moments in Isaac's life comes in Genesis 22, the binding of Isaac. This story is so profound that it's often seen as a foreshadowing of God's ultimate sacrifice in the New Testament. Here's how it unfolds. God tests Abraham's faith by asking him to sacrifice Isaac, his beloved son. Think about that. Isaac wasn't just any child. He was the child of promise, the living proof of God's faithfulness. How could God ask for such a thing? As they ascend Mount Moriah, Isaac innocently asks, asterisk, the fire and wood are here, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Asterisk, Genesis 22, verse 7. Abraham's reply is both heartbreaking and faith-filled. God himself will provide the lamb. Genesis 22, verse 8. At the last moment, as Abraham raises the knife, an angel intervenes. Asterisk, do not lay a hand on the boy. Now, I know that you fear God. Genesis 22, verse 12. A ram appears, caught in a thicket, and is offered in Isaac's place. This story is a powerful reminder of God's provision. It challenges us to ask, do we trust God enough to surrender what we hold most dear? And just as Abraham declared that place the Lord will provide, Genesis 22, verse 14, we, too, can trust in God's faithfulness to meet our needs, often in ways we least expect. Isaac's life isn't just about tests of faith. It's also about love. His marriage to Rebekah is one of the most beautiful love stories in the Bible. After Sarah's death, Abraham sends his servant to find a wife for Isaac. The servant prays a specific prayer, asking for a sign. The woman who offers water to him and his camels will be the one God has chosen. Genesis 24, verses 12 to 14. Enter Rebekah, a woman of kindness and generosity who fulfills this prayer exactly. When Isaac meets her, it's a moment of deep connection. The Bible tells us, Isaac brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he loved her. Genesis 24, verse 67. Their relationship is marked by mutual respect and love, serving as a model for God-centered partnerships. For those seeking or in relationships, Isaac and Rebekah's story reminds us to involve God in our choices and trust his guidance. In a time when disputes over land and water were common, Isaac stood out as a man of peace. After settling in Gerar during a famine, Isaac prospered so much that the Philistines envied him and began to quarrel over wells that his servants had dug. Genesis 26, verses 12 to 15. Instead of fighting, Isaac simply moved on and dug new wells. This happened repeatedly until finally, his enemies made peace with him, recognizing that the Lord has been with you. Genesis 26 verse 28. Isaac's actions teach us a powerful lesson about avoiding unnecessary conflict. Sometimes, walking away and trusting God to provide elsewhere is the better path. As Jesus later taught, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Matthew 5 verse 9. Isaac's later years were marked by family drama, particularly between his twin sons, Jacob and Esau. Isaac favored Esau, the rugged hunter, while Rebekah favored Jacob, the quieter, homebound son. Genesis 25 verses 27 to 28. This favoritism set the stage for deceit and division. Jacob, with Rebekah's help, tricked Isaac into giving him the blessing meant for Esau. Genesis 27. While this story highlights the dangers of favoritism and deception, it also shows God's sovereignty. Despite human flaws and mistakes, God's plans prevail. Jacob, though far from perfect, became the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Isaac's story reminds us that God can work through even the messiest family situations to fulfill his purposes. Isaac's life is rich with lessons for us today. Here are a few key takeaways. God's timing is perfect. Isaac's birth shows us that God's promises may take time, but they are always fulfilled. Are you waiting on something? Trust that God is working, even when you can't see it. Faith requires surrender. The binding of Isaac challenges us to ask what we're holding onto that we need to surrender to God. True faith means trusting Him, even when it's hard. Love and kindness matter. Isaac and Rebekah's story reminds us of the beauty of a God-centered relationship built on love and kindness. Choose peace. Isaac's response to conflict shows us the power of being a peacemaker. Are there conflicts in your life where you can choose peace over pride? God's plans prevail. Even in the midst of family drama and human mistakes, God's purposes will stand. He is sovereign, working all things for good. Romans 8 verse 28. Isaac's life might not have been as action-packed as Abraham's or Jacob's, but his quiet faith and trust in God left a lasting impact. Through Isaac, God continued his covenant, ultimately leading to the birth of Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world. Isaac's story is a testament to the power of faith, the beauty of God's provision, and the importance of trusting his plans. So, there you have it, the incredible story of Isaac, a man whose life is filled with faith, love, and lessons that resonate even today. If this story inspired you, take a moment to reflect on what God might be teaching you through Isaac's journey. And as always, keep exploring these timeless stories that continue to shape our lives.